In addition to the regular benefits of working at a theme park, there's also a number of perks that employees receive. Not just the normal things, but there's also a number of special events, activities, and other things that you might not ever even know about if you don't work at a theme park. Back in an earlier video, I talked about some of the extra perks and special benefits that park employees get. That was far from all of them. If you did by chance miss that video, check out the link up there, and that'll actually let you go back and take a look at some of them. But in addition to all the discounts and special sales and merchandise and food discounts in the parks and free admissions, there's a number of other things that park employees and cast members also get to do that you may not even be aware of. But they're some of the best parts of being a park employee. One of them, for example, is special employee events at the parks. Some of the parks may host an employee time only in the park, where for a few hours it's only open for cast members and their guests or their family members. Silver Dollar City, for example, would do this every year at Whitewater, which is their water park with all the water slides. And for one afternoon and evening during the summer, it would only be open for park employees. You could bring your family in, you could bring a couple guests, and then you get to enjoy all the water slides and the wave pool and the lazy river with all your friends and coworkers and your family members. We would get free food as part of it, since it was just employees. They would offer up special prizes and do a bunch of different fun activities. One of the highlights of it for me was the karaoke. I'm not a real big karaoke person, but when you get a group of train robbers together and they're all singing, "Now I'm not big on social graces, think I'll slip on down to the oasis. I've got friends in low places." It just makes for a whole lot of fun. And you gotta admit, the song is pretty fitting for a bunch of train robbers. We would also get employee-only previews of upcoming attractions and rides. Disney would typically do what was called a cast member soft opening, where a ride or new attraction would only be open for cast members at certain times, and they would get to ride and essentially test the ride or attraction, give the people good feedback on whether it was working or not, just make it a lot of fun, plus it allowed the employees to have an experience that they could talk about. I didn't manage to get to any of them at Disney, but I did manage to get to them at Busch Gardens and at Silver Dollar City. Busch Gardens, I got to ride SheiKra on an employee-only day. That was a whole lot of fun. I got to be there for the media day as well. But on the employee-only day, again, it's all co-workers. We would try to get in, as I remember, a couple hours before the park opened, and we had a couple hours to just ride and try it out before we went on to work. Just special times that only employees could ride. Silver Dollar City did the same thing when they opened up Outlaw Run. They had a special time that only employees could come ride before it was open to the public. Silver Dollar City, though, did something even better. They actually let you bring in a guest or family members for it. So before the ride ever opened to the public and they had a chance to ride, the employees had one night that we got to go, and we got opportunity to ride several times. I got like 7 or 8 rides in a matter of about an hour and a half. Great fun, got to bring my wife and my kids. They all got to experience it. Had a great time. And not only do you get to experience the ride early, but the people working on the ride, it gives them a chance to practice running the ride with people, to get used to running it that way, and with a friendly, supportive crowd, as opposed to possibly grumpy guests who don't quite understand downtimes and things like that. So it just made for a great time. The other thing, too, that the ride previews would do sometimes is they would actually call other employees in and ask them if they would be available for a special evacuation practice. Again, this would often happen before the rides opened up to the public. The team wanted to make sure that it was practiced and ready on how to evacuate people from the ride if they had to stop it. Roller coasters, an example, are designed to stop the roller coaster trains on the lift hill if there is any problem. If the roller coaster thinks that there's somebody up on the track, or it detects another train, or if there's any sort of glitch, it will stop the roller coaster either on the lift hill or on the brake run. And they need to be able to practice getting people on and off the train at that point. So they would call in the employees because, hey, what better to work with for a practice dummy than a bunch of dummies working at the park? It made for a lot of fun because typically we would get 1 or 2 free rides out of it. And then they would stop us up on the lift hill, and they would come up and practice opening up the cars and getting us out of the cars and onto the lift hill and walking us down. It is the only time I ever took a phone or a camera on a coaster and pulled it out. And I didn't do it when the ride was operating. I actually had it tucked down into my bib overalls that I wore for robbing. And when we stopped on the lift hill and we weren't going to move anymore and they were coming up to get us, at that point I pulled it out and turned around and took a couple pictures of the other people. Don't ever do that on a roller coaster when it's operating. Ever. 1, it's dangerous. 2, you're likely to lose the phone and have it destroyed. 3, it's likely to hit somebody on the ride. I've seen it. It's not pretty. And 4th, it's a great way to get yourself kicked out of the park in a hurry and possibly get banned from it. Don't ever pull out a cell phone or a video camera on a ride. Not a good idea. Dangerous, dangerous, dangerous. But like I said, this was the one time when we weren't moving and we knew we weren't going to move. Don't do that though. Other things that we got to experience early, maybe say shows and parades. Disney, when it had the special events like the Mickey's Christmas Party and the Mickey's Not So Scary Halloween Party, they had a special parade for each of them. Well, they would actually pick one night and they would do a preview parade, again, only open for cast members, where they got to run the parade. Everybody in the parade got to practice the routines in front of a live audience. Again, very supportive, and all the cast members got to see something that they were usually working during or didn't get to see because they weren't there. And it turned into a giant party with the cast members. During the Not So Scary preview, we would be yelling and screaming at the pirates and cheering them on and cheering on the ghost drill team and all sorts of fun stuff like that. It just made for a great party atmosphere and we had a ball. Disney also had a number of other special cast events that we would do. One of the well-known ones is the canoe races on the rivers of America. Each different division would form up a team of rowers and they would get out early before the park opened. And they would get out and practice rowing, and then they would actually do races around the whole island. I never actually got to go and do that or participate in it. We had a photopass team that was out there, and they did okay, as I recall. I heard a lot of people really enjoyed that. Our photopass group also had a softball team that competed against other divisions and operation groups at Disney. We'd also do group fundraisers. One of the big ones every year was the big bowl-a-thon for Give Kids a World. And they would actually take over a whole entire bowling alley, a big bowling alley, with just cast members all raising money for Give Kids the World and Make-A-Wish. Just a really neat annual thing that they did. Silver Dollar City also did a lot of different community projects. It had a couple charitable foundations. In fact, the volunteer work I do at the school, even now, even though I don't work at Silver Dollar City anymore, is actually still partially through their foundation to help out the local schools. They run background checks, provide school supplies, help raise funds for the schools for various different things and needs that are out there. They also pick one school every year to receive a makeover. And all the employees and a bunch of other volunteers come in and will work on this school for a whole day. Our local school got picked one year and we painted the whole entire school. All of the halls, the lockers, the bathrooms, we painted the whole thing. Got it all done in one day, which was really neat because it needed it. And to come in just look and the whole school's basically got a makeover. Disney, in particular, also offered a whole lot of other activities and tours for its cast members. It offers a number of special tours anyways to guests, and you can pay a big hefty fee to go on them if you want. Things like the Mickey's Magical Milestones tour. And you're welcome to pay extra to do that, but as a cast member, you can go on these same tours for free at special times. And they would advertise when, and you could sign up on a first-come, first-served basis and go on the tours. And it gave you an opportunity to see what the guests would get to experience if they had paid for the tour. I know they did Keys to the Kingdom tour, Mickey's Magical Milestones. They would offer tours sometimes of Pirates of the Caribbean and the Haunted Mansion and Spaceship Earth and let you get a look at them behind the scenes, usually real early before the park opens, so that way you could see with the lights on. I didn't get to do those. I wish I had, because that would have been really cool. But just a neat extra incentive for the park employees. And then one of the special ones I've already mentioned in the past, but that really stands out. A lot of companies give their employees Christmas bonuses. Theme parks don't always do that because they're usually running on a pretty low budget and trying to keep expenses down. Disney, however, would. Disney would do a couple of its things for its cast members. One of the things that you would get every year would be a Christmas gift. And it may be something small, like a little ornament that we got one year that was, yeah, okay. We also got a real nice picture frame. I got a real nice Snow White dish. They would also give out a special packet. You would get mailed a little booklet And inside that booklet would be all sorts of coupons. One would include a free photopass picture for you and your whole family. You would also get meal coupons that would give you a good discount on one of the special meals, like the character buffets or the resort dinners or some of the other in-park meals. So you could go to one of the more expensive restaurants and get 50% off your meal. And then there would sometimes be additional ones where you get a second one at 40% off and another one at 30% off. That allowed us to go experience some of the more expensive meals that we could never afford otherwise. Also in the booklet, you would have things like free popcorn and soft drink coupons. You would also receive additional admissions. Disney normally, if you worked at one of the theme parks, you only got into the 4 theme parks with your extra admissions for family and friends. But with the Christmas bonus, they would actually send you a card that would give you extra admissions to the water parks. You could go to both water parks once. You could go to Disney Quest and a couple other things that you normally wouldn't get into. Not only would they give you the extra admissions, normally you only got as many guest admissions as you had family members. So for example, I have my wife and 2 kids. So on my admission cards each year, I would get 4 admissions, including me. But for the Christmas one, they would throw on 2 extras. So I would get 6 admissions, including me, which meant we could bring a couple other family members or guests, and it was just a really nice little bonus. So all of those were extras that you could get for working at the theme parks. There, of course, were other little things that you would get to do as cast members. You maybe get an extra shopping discount during holidays. At Disney, cast members could get 40 or 50% off merchandise in the parks sometimes, depending upon how long you've been there, and a number of other things. But those were some of the best perks, some of the most fun ones we got to do. Cast member events were just a lot of fun, and they made for a good job to be even better when you got to do them. Hope you enjoyed this little look at some of the perks. Thank you so much for watching. If you're ever thinking about working at a park, you got a little idea of some of the extras that they might give you. No guarantees, though. Don't forget to like and share the video. If you haven't yet, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to send me your comments. I'd love to hear from you. Thanks so much.